Procrastination, a healing journey into your DNA by Anna-Vita. Procrastination feels awful, even when you're doing it. While you may superficially enjoy the escapist activity you're doing instead of what you know you need to be doing, there's still a part of you that feels awful, especially afterwards. Hello, and welcome. I'm Anna-Vita, artist and self-healer. I'm here to expand my own healing process out to include you. I seek to guide and inspire you in your own self-healing, for all healing is self-healing. Procrastination is a major disconnect between your intentions and your actions. It's very stressful. It's like trying to drive a car while the parking brake is on. It burns out the engine. Procrastination does the same thing to you. In this meditation, we're going to address procrastination down at the cellular level. Since the body and subconscious mind are one, we will go deep into the recesses of our own innermost self, the place where all the potential and instructions for our best selves reside, the DNA. You really do have everything you need inside yourself to create the life you most desire, and we're going to uncover it. Ready? Get really comfortable. Focus on your breathing. Breathe more slowly and mindfully than normal. Don't force it. Just feel it. Feel the in-breath fully. Feel the out-breath fully. Feel the oxygen saturating all the way to your fingertips and the tips of your toes. Feel the carbon dioxide exiting with every exhalation. It's so simple, elegant, and perfect. Revel for a while in how miraculous your every breath actually is, while sinking ever deeper into a luxurious feeling of relaxation. Sink into the solidity of your body. Feel it getting heavier and heavier in your chair or bed. Now picture yourself at the top of a spiral staircase. It's very heavily built. A stone staircase inside a stone turret. It's very solid and has a lovely smooth mahogany handrail curving all the way down. As you start stepping down and around, the handrail feels like it's keeping you perfectly on course, perfectly balanced. You keep moving down and around, down and around, down and around. You start to pick up momentum and start going faster and faster. It's almost dizzying, but it feels magical too, exciting. You know that you're drilling down into the source of your true self and can't wait to get there. The more you go down and around, down and around, down and around, the smaller both you and the staircase start to get. You don't feel any smaller, but you know you are miniaturizing, that the drilling down process is miniaturizing you. The staircase goes on and on. It seems like it'll never end. You marvel at how long it must be. Gradually, the color and quality of the air begins to change. You can still breathe perfectly well, but it seems closer, more humid. There is a moisture on the stone wall and the handrail is definitely wet. The steps, however, are not slippery. If anything, you feel more sure-footed and pick up the pace. The downward pull of gravity and momentum allows you to practically fly down these stairs. As you pick up speed, both you and the staircase begin to change. You're still you, still breathing, still sure-footed, but no longer subject to gravity. As you pick up your feet, you find that you really are flying down the staircase. And the more you spiral so fast and effortlessly down the staircase, the more the staircase starts to change too. It's no longer made of stone, but some open, airy type of construction. It's your own DNA. You're between the two edges of the double helix and are able to move up and down the rungs as easily as breathing. It's very exciting. You play the rungs of your own DNA like a giant xylophone, tapping out melodies with your feet in a kind of dance you never before imagined. You tap dance in both directions with spontaneity and glee. It's really fun. Some of the notes are a bit clunky though, a bit muffled and dampened. They sound more like hollow thuds rather than clear bell-like notes. You wonder about this and stop dancing to have a closer look. You see that some of the rungs are covered in plastic wrap. It's wrapped around them quite thickly. And some are even reinforced with duct tape. Oh yeah, you remember. This is what I came here for. To fix this. The plastic wrap and duct tape are all the internalized lies and conditioning that have been dampening your spirit and keeping your life too small for comfort. The DNA underneath it all is perfect. It's everything you need, in fact, to live the life you were designed to live. It is the design. The perfect design for you, tucked safely away in all your cells. It's the dampening that's the problem. The dampening is what's been preventing this design from ringing out in the clear, unmistakable tones of your innate potential. The dampening is what's been holding your life back, keeping your life small and unsatisfying. So, we're going to remove it all. You randomly pick one rung to examine. It looks easy to deal with. This is your procrastination over doing small things like washing the dishes, clearing out that junk drawer, or making your bed. You look at the thick layer of plastic wrap engulfing this rung, and it's hard to find the edge. You thought you could just find the edge and simply start unwrapping it. But small things are very often bigger problems than they appear to be on the surface. You can't find the edge. The layers of plastic wrap seem to have melded into each other, creating a very thick, strong, and difficult to dismantle covering. You materialize a knife out of thin air and start to cut and dig into the plastic. The outer surface is cut, kind of, and you can use the knife to enlarge the cut enough to get a couple fingers in. You pull on this outer layer. It starts to tear away, but only in a thin strip, not the whole sheet. You want to get the entire outer layer cut away so you can just unwrap the whole sheet. It's surprisingly difficult. The stuff just won't tear away like it seems it should. You use the knife again to enlarge the cut you already have. If you cut all the way to each edge, you should be able to start unwrapping. Why is it so hard to do these little things? Washing the dishes, clearing out junk drawers, and making your bed are all very easy to do. And you always feel better after you've done them. Why is it such a struggle? What is it about these things you really don't want to face? What does it really mean? What does it really indicate? These are difficult questions about seemingly simple things. If you honestly face these questions and honestly answer them, you will achieve a lot more than an empty sink, an organized drawer, and a made bed. You will unlock the secrets to your larger procrastination. The procrastination with considerably more destructive and detrimental effects on your life. The procrastination that keeps you from even having a life, or rather, a life that you love. This procrastination lets you have a life that's too small for comfort, but not the life you know you deserve. But your procrastination is your procrastination. Whether it's over the everyday details of life, or the size, shape, and purpose of life itself, the very meaning of your life, it's the same thing. Big or small, it's the same. It's a self-replicating feedback loop, and it scales up as easily as it scales down. If you can unlock the hidden reasons why you refuse to improve your life on the small scale stuff, then the reasons for the larger scale stuff can start coming into focus. They're the same reasons, theme and variation. The seemingly small problems are really only reflections of the bigger problems. They're threads that have tangled themselves into your daily life and habits. It's this mixture, this tangle between big and small, that makes everything seem so impossible. The little problems, whatever they are your personal metaphors for the big problems. If you look honestly enough and close enough, you will start to see. Let's get back to the difficult plastic wrap. You were working on enlarging the jagged and kind of shredded hole you managed to make. With a bit of grunting and swearing, you're able to extend the cut in one direction. Now that it's larger, you can get the knife in and start to make some progress. And you have an insight about the nature of your own energy level in relation to persistence. You see now how persistence is easy for you under certain conditions, but extremely difficult, verging on impossible, under other conditions. Now that you've managed to get a good cut moving along the length of this stupid plastic wrap, ugh, what horrible stuff it is, what have you realized about your own style of persistence? Do you need to have a challenge in order to persist? Or is persistence only something you can manage when there is no challenge, like with imaginary plastic wrap? You don't have to answer that right now. Ask your subconscious. Let the answer bubble up in its own time. We need to get back to the problem at hand. Your DNA is important. It needs liberating. How did this horrible stuff become so commonplace? It's supposedly a convenience, but there's nothing convenient about this. The stuff is downright deadly, suffocating. Just like the convenient cling-wrap lies we internalize, they start out small, seemingly nothing, a flimsy little sheet of easily punctured plastic wrap. It's nothing. But when it's wrapped around and around and around, it's life-threatening. Manufactured garbage is literally choking out life on this planet. And it's no different from the manufactured lies that are choking out your life, your real life. The 1% are only special if the 99% remain small. And there are literally mountains of manufactured lies, garbage, and fears maintaining the artificial 1 to 99% imbalance. Self-replicating feedback loops have been set into motion, one after another, after another, after another, repeatedly, endlessly, constantly, over thousands of years, on every level: social, interpersonal, individual, environmental, political. It has created an extremely toxic imbalance. And your personal procrastination is a symptom. It's a direct product of that imbalance. It's not your fault. You were born into it. And it's not your family of origin's fault either. They were born into it too. It's the toxic, garbage-producing culture that is so much bigger than any of us. You're dismantling and outgrowing your procrastination in order to create the life you were meant to live is enormously important. It's important for you as an individual, for obvious reasons, but it's even more important for the collective. When those of us in the 99% come into our real innate power, the artificial imbalance cannot be maintained. It collapses. So let us look again to this plastic garbage wrapped so suffocatingly around your precious DNA. It has to go. This is your life. This is for all life. As you cut through the top layers of this horrible plastic, making your way to the edge, you start to see your excuses for what they are. Garbage. Different kinds of garbage. Fear, lies, toxicity. What else? What do you see? It's all totally made up. Totally. None of it is who you really are. It's falsity, superimposed on top of reality. Ah, there. You've cut all the way through to the edge. The top layer is halfway free. Phew, that was intense. Now you need to cut through to the other edge. This is more difficult because now you have to use your non-dominant hand. Ugh, that's really frustrating. But then you remember, you can move up and down this double helix with the greatest of ease. So you fly up the strand and turn around, facing down, and now you can easily use your dominant hand to cut the top layers in the opposite direction, to the other edge. That was easy. Where there's a will, there's a way. As you start cutting the plastic towards the other edge, you think about how important healing is to you. You think about how much time, energy, and focus you devote to your healing process. You know you've made excellent progress. You're nowhere near as reactive as you used to be. And you love the feeling of calm that permeates your life for so much of the time now. It never used to be like that. But it's clear there is still so much yet to be healed. You've had a brilliant plan for what you want to do with your life for, oh wow, such a long time now. But there are a lot of perfectly rational reasons why it's important to wait. You want to be able to do it right, do it well, do a really excellent job of it. You're not a perfectionist. That's not what it is. Your messy kitchen and unmade bed are proof enough of that. Just kidding. The reality is, you could live in the biggest, most chaotic mess imaginable, a hoarding nightmare even, and still be a perfectionist. Isn't that annoying? These complexes we develop take on lives of their own and can be virtually invisible, incredibly subtle, and oh, so very sneaky. So, you very rightly feel like you need to alchemize more of whatever it is that's blocking you. You feel like until you do that, nothing will ever be possible. It seems sensible to put first things first. More than sensible. It's quite wise. very judicious. You're very intelligent. And it doesn't take a rocket scientist to see that traveling a road that is totally impassable is not a good way to get to your destination. But thinking and logic are not the right tools for this job. When you're highly intelligent, it's all too easy to create some extremely sensible sounding excuses for your procrastination. Perfectionism, fear of failure, fear of success, self-doubt, low self-esteem, grandiosity, nobody understands me, all put together in your particular combination. They're all the same thing, all slightly different ways of believing the very same thing. I'm not good enough, worthy enough, I don't deserve any better, or my life isn't that bad, I'm bored in my job, it's true, but at least I have one. It's okay to stay where I'm at. It's not the end of the world. And besides, I'm working on healing. I'm working on it a lot. And it is totally true that you have to do the inner work in order to start seeing the results in your outer world. But at what point does healing itself become a form of procrastination? It's the perfect disguise, the perfect excuse. You still get answers from your subconscious. You still have realizations quite frequently. They are not mind-blowing the way they used to be. It's getting more subtle. But that's good. That's evidence of progress. All that is true. But your big, bold, beautiful plan, it's part of your healing process. The most important part. The part where, after all that internal work, the rubber finally meets the road and the friction, bam, catapults you forward into a much more actualized aspect of yourself. Because the quest is the final piece of your healing puzzle. Going on your quest, following the clues, collecting the necessary pieces, creating the necessary pieces, putting it all together, closing circuits, getting noticed, responding to feedback, tweaking your trajectory. Doing it, in other words, is what will finally complete the alchemical process. Doing it is a whole new level of self-development, and it cannot be avoided. Action is infinitely more productive, educational, and joyful than mere research. Doing it is what will make you into the person you most want to be. You. But with all that under your belt. You. But with this brilliant thing you made for the world. You, whose brilliant thing is getting bigger and more brilliant all the time. You. You need to decide. You need to start. Or start doing more. Step up your game. One tiny little thing every 2 or 3 weeks isn't going to cut it. It has to become a real body of work. You have to make a commitment to yourself and your vision. You have to get all that superimposed garbage off your most important parts. You have to look your excuses in the eye and out them as the lies they are. To yourself, not to anybody else. Will you still procrastinate? Even after you've done that? After you've been honest with yourself and made a commitment to yourself? Yes, most likely. Because these things are not as easy to disentangle yourself from as they look. If they were, everybody would be a rock star. If you can see your quest as a new healing modality, then suddenly you have a whole new healing modality. The changes you create from your outer work become enactments of your inner work. And before you know it, you can see your mastery growing by leaps and bounds. Working through the actual problems that come up in creating something gives you the experience and knowledge you need to eventually become meteoric in your eyes. Eventually being the key word. It cannot be forced, not if you want it to last. Because sometimes you really do need to sit back in silence and reflect on what you just got done. Feel amazed at it, happily surprised, and be very thoughtful about the next steps. This is completely different from procrastination, which isn't needed, but which must be accepted. Because, like it or not, it's still a part of your process. How you treat it means a lot. Fighting it, resisting it, getting angry at yourself for it only makes it worse. Creates a vicious circle. Do you want to create an ongoing virtuous circle where your ever-increasing levels of mastery allow you to produce things that surprise you with all the extra meaning that comes through without your even trying? Then you have to accept the low points of procrastination. Love them even. Allow yourself to feel the disgust about having procrastinated. Sit with it. Allow it to move through you. Love yourself through it. Feel the great, big, luminous, divine self of yours holding you as you feel the disgust. If you do this, it will move through and out. When you are in a place where you really don't know what to do next, or you think you do, but it seems painful in its size and scope, so much so that you dread starting, well, then procrastination is perfectly understandable. But don't let this upset you into binge watching another TV series, eating a whole chocolate cake, or whatever your favorite distraction is. Distractions distract you from your real life. Feel the fear, the overwhelm, the uncertainty, and love yourself through it. Work on smaller pieces. Work at a level that seems easy enough for you to pull it off successfully, without it being boring. Because something boring that's beneath you is a good reason to procrastinate. You want to strike a comfortable balance between boredom and anxiety. This is how we enter the flow state, and flow states create their own momentum. As you work on these smaller, easier, but not too easy pieces, then aspects of the big thing will start coming through, creating an extra layer of depth you didn't expect or plan on. Because the big thing isn't going to go away. You just have to move laterally. Hiking straight up a mountain is very hard. But zigzagging laterally along the flattish ledges is only a little hard. Hard enough to be interesting, but not so hard that you want to quit. This is how you build up an impressive body of work. And guess what? It's made up of pieces that are the right size for your viewers or readers too. Win-win. So, when you succumb to procrastination, and you will, don't beat yourself up about it. No more name-calling, belittlement, or self-punishment. You'd never talk to anybody else like that. And if anybody else talked to you like that, no. Who do they think they are? You wouldn't stand for it. When procrastination strikes, use the golden rule on yourself. How would you like to be treated? With understanding Then give yourself understanding. With comfort and mothering, give yourself comfort and mothering. With compassion, give yourself compassion. Don't worry, you won't lull yourself into a permanent state of stagnation. Just the opposite, in fact. The angst you feel during and after a bout of procrastination is your soul. It's an expression of your soul's disappointment. She was looking forward to your continued progress. She feels bad for the lack of it. So punishing yourself is punishing her. It's an insult to her. But treating yourself with kindness wipes the slate clean. When you accept your procrastination evaporates. Use your favorite self-love meditation to envelop your frustration over procrastination in a healing light of love. Hug yourself. Stroke yourself. Feel your soul's arms around you in a loving embrace. Tell yourself it's perfectly understandable. But don't accept lies. Don't console yourself that it's because of the economy or the bank or anything other than you. But be kind and compassionate to you. You've been trying too hard and can't cope. Of course you procrastinated. It doesn't take very much self-love before the negative feelings over having procrastinated melt away, and suddenly, ooh, you have a great idea for something you can do, and do easily. It's like meditation. It's a practice. The trick is simply to keep coming back. A disconnect between your intention and your actions seems difficult to fix, but seems is the key word. Now, where were we with that tacky plastic wrap? Oh yes, cutting through to the other edge. You've made a lot of progress while relating this plastic wrap problem to the nature of procrastination. You're almost there, and yes, you've cut through the edge. You peel the jaggedy cut edge away from the mass of plastic and start unwrapping it. You ball it up as you unwrap it, passing the ball from hand to hand as you unwind it from around the rung. And then, it's off. It's all off. This one rung of your DNA is free. You open your eyes with a smile, knowing you are perfectly equipped to go forth and create a life you love. Thank you for practicing with me. For a more powerful effect, practice this meditation repeatedly, daily. Commit to a 30-day challenge, or until you begin to see changes in your own behaviors and reactions to things. If you would like meditations on specific topics, let me know in the comments. I'll do my best to accommodate. Have a beautiful day, or night, and know that all my love goes with you in support of your continued progress. Catch you next time.